Now, from the console, we have a couple of business questions that we can look into just to demonstrate the knowledge of our weight loss. Now, let's look at the first question. Here it says that your manager wants to get all the products whose product category ID is 18 from the product table. He also wants to output the color of the product, the standard cost, the list price, and the product category. Now let's write a where clause to represent this business question. So here we would select the name of the product category ID, the color, standard cost, and list price. Now all these are coming from sales LT, that product. But in this case, we want whose product category is exactly 18. So what that means is we would use a comparison operator to compare where the product ID is exactly 18. So here I would say where product category ID is equals to 18. Great. Now I would run the entire cell here and execute. Fantastic. Now you have seen how we have used the where clause to restrict the amount of data that comes in based on a certain condition stating that the product category ID is exactly 18. Now, let's look at the second business question where he wants you to generate for only reports or products that have black colors. So what we can do here is we can copy the entire thing here and paste, and then change our condition to color is equals to black. Now take note of how I had to put the black in quotes. What that means is that any row that is of the string data type must be kept in quotes. So if I highlighted this here and execute, then I have for only products that have black colors. Now, what if I want to get or restrict the data for products where their color is black and also products where their product category ID is exactly 18? I can come here and put a logical operator and say and product category ID is equals to 18. And if I run this entire cell and execute, you can now see how I have further restricted the number of data that have been returned from this particular query by using a combination of a comparison operator and a logical operator. Now let's still look at more business question to explaining the concept of the where clause. Your manager wants all customers whose customers ID is between 15 and 20. Here, I would also be using more comparison operator called between just to show customer ID between 5 and 20. So let's select all customers from the customers table. So basically we want to use a range to look for customers whose value are between 5 and 20. Here we would use the between clause, and the between clause would take a lower limit, which is 5, and an upper limit. So I would say select star from sales LT dot customer where customer ID between 5 and 20. Great. Now, if I run this entire cell here, I then now have those customers that are between 5 and 20. So you can see the customer ID from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down onto 20. Now, what if your manager wants customers whose customer ID is exactly 5, 10, and 20? Now, what I can do here is to use the in operator. So I'll copy that entire thing here and use the in operator to look for those customers whose customers ID are exactly 5 and 20. So here I could say where customer ID in, I'll open a bracket here and say 5, 10, 20. Now, this would look for exact match in this particular given values. Now, if those rows do not exist, it skips to the next customer ID and see if it exactly is in that particular table. So if I run the entire thing here and execute, I have those exact customers between 5, 10, and 20. Now, what if I added a 1000 into the list? Let's assume that we have a customer ID whose customer ID is 1000. So if I run it, as long as there is a customer whose customer ID is exactly 1000, it would return the value. But if it doesn't exist, it wouldn't throw an error, but it wouldn't return the value. Now remember, I said that the NOT operator reverses the logic. So the same way I have the in operator, I can come here and say NOT in, and what this would return is every other values except 5, 10, 20, and 1000. So if I run the entire thing here and execute, ta-da, I then now have for customer ID in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but not in 5, 10, 20, and 1000. Let's look at this business question that says your manager wants to return all customers' name that starts with an A. Now the report should include the first name, the last name, the middle name. Now, for you to solve in this, what that means is we would use a like operator from our intuition, and the like operator is also more of a logical operator, and they are of the two type, which is the underscore and the percentage. So let's break it down. Now the underscore will denote exactly one character match, while the percentage will denote 0 or more characters. Now let's put it to a test. Now we want all customers' name that starts with an A. So every customer whose first name starts with an A will then be returned. In this case, we are going to use the like operator with an underscore. So names like Anita, names like Alexandra, even just first names like A would be returned from the query. So here I would say select first name, middle name, and last name. Now I am selecting all these from saleslt.customer, right? I would say where first name is the condition, but the exact condition would then now be like. Now it means that the first name starts with A, so I would say A percentage and this. Now what this means is the first name starts with A. Every other characters that comes after A would then be represented by the percentage sign. Hence, that says 0 or more characters. I will then now close this and run. Cool. Now you can see every customer's whose first name starts with an A. Now, how do we represent underscore? Underscore would denote exactly one character match. So if I copied this here and pasted somewhere here, and here I say exactly one character. Now, it means that if I replace this with an underscore, what this means is I am looking for a customer name that starts with an A and ends with just one character. So in this case, I'm looking for a customer with a first name with 2 characters. Okay, so if I highlighted this and run, so these are only the customer with first name having 2 characters. If I were to put another underscore here, what that means, I'm looking for a customer whose first name has 3 characters. The double underscore there represents exactly just 2 characters. Now you can see, and Amy, if I add another underscore here, making 3 underscores and the exact match, which is an A, what that means is I am looking for a customer name with exactly 4 characters. Now, let's take it a step further. What if I added an underscore here? I mean, a percentage here before the A. And let's make this A. Now, what this means is 0 or more characters before the A, and after the A, probably 4 more characters. So let's see what this would return. Great. Now what this means is there must be an A somewhere in the name, right? There must be an A somewhere in the name. So basically the percentage sign and the underscore sign would just match characters for you. Finally, let's look at multiple conditions. Your manager wants all the reports from the product table whose sales start date is between these 2 dates and their product is not in 779, 780, 781, and their color is either black or red. Okay, so let's see how we can get that done. First off, we're going to select all products from that table. Now we'll start with our where clause. So we'll say where sales start date between that date. So the date would take the month, the year 2002, the month and the day, and the end date, which is still 2002, the month and the day. Now note how we kept our dates in strings. Now we then now say, and another condition here says that the product ID is not in 779, 780, and 781. And another condition again, and color is equals to black or red. Okay, so let's see. So this has to be color is equals to red. All right, so let's run this and execute. Now you can see how we have used multiple conditions to restrict the flow of data that have been returned based on the conditions that have been given to us. Great job.